notice I have this piece of hair that's like sticking out to this, like, look at that.
Christina is super excited. She's getting her hair done today after 3 months of not getting it done, hence the hat.
So I'm going with the hat look today because I've been hiding, which I really haven't been, my mass amounts of gray that I have in my hair. I'm only 36, but I have massive gray hair. I have terrible gray genetics. And so I have like crazy amounts of gray hair. So I've been, oh, look, I have a little person at the door. I have been hiding it. And today I am not hiding very well. So the hat is hiding for me today. So,
awesome.
But 1.5 hours until hair time.
Yeah, time out. Well, and also we just want to give you a quick warning. According to information Christina has, she's supposed to already have no power, but as you can see, we have power, so we're gonna go with it. And if something happens mid-work, then we will deal with it as it comes. And little people as well, which is part of my life.
Sorry, I have a little person having a meltdown. Give me one moment. You hold down the fort for a moment. We've done how many weeks of coffee chat and never had this, but today we need to have a meltdown.
That's all right. Happy Monday, guys. We are super pumped because not only is this Monday, but it's June 1st, which is also a brand new month, as well as it is the week of our Shred the COVID-19 weight loss challenge. And so we are so excited about that. So lots of great things going on this week. But today, we are talking about, hi April, hi Frankie. Why are you not losing weight? What? What is going on?
I'm doing everything right. Why am I not losing weight?
I know, and there's a lot. Somebody's saying no sound. I'm hoping it's just Shannon. She can't hear you, maybe. I don't know. Can everybody?
April, Michelle, do we have sound? Tell us if we have sound.
We just talk, right? We just hope you hear us. I don't even have my phone to check, so I'm hoping it's with Shannon's and Shannon can get it fixed. But we're talking about some of the common mistakes, and this is thousands and thousands. I don't have any on my computer either. On your phone, do you? This is a question. You have your phone close by, Christina, that you can. Heather can hear.
Heather can hear us.
Okay. Well then, that's good news. April can hear us too.
Okay. Sorry, can't hear. Half can hear and half cannot. I feel like it must not be an us thing. It must be a Facebook thing.
Oh, that's always possible. Well, we're recording this, guys, so hopefully if you can't hear us and you get attached to our kind of replay and worksheets and stuff, then you can hear us then. So hopefully.
I can hear us on my phone.
Okay. Well, maybe it's just a mobile thing.
Yeah. It seems like on mobile, although if you're on your computer, you can't hear what we're saying anyways. But if you're on mobile, apparently you can. But if you're on your computer, you can't. Okay. So Lindsay, as she said, we are talking today about why you're not losing weight. So we wanted to cover some of the most common things. So the absolute number one thing that we find when working with thousands of people now of why they're not losing weight is, drumroll, I'm terrible at drumroll, is that you're not eating enough calories, which, let's be honest, in the bariatric world, that is the biggest mind F on earth, that you think that you had surgery to eat less and that's the secret sauce. We're talking about the secret sauce in our challenge in a couple days. But so lots of people think that the secret of bariatric surgery is that they're going to make you have this tiny tummy and you're just going to eat less food, you're going to lose weight, and it's going to be fantastic. And calories in versus calories out is how you lose weight. So if you're in this huge calorie deficit, you should lose weight like a champ. So 400, 500, 600 calories a day, why am I not losing weight? But there's science, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, there's so much more to it than just the calories in, calories out that we hear about all the time. And this is bariatric world, this is diet world, this is everywhere that you hear it's about 1,200 calories, 10,000 calories. Lower you go, the better you'll be. And the truth of the matter is that is absolutely not true. Can you have success with lower calories? Yes, of course. Your body can readjust and do these things, but it's not long-term success. And honestly, when you're in this point of your surgery, whether you're watching us pre-surgery, whether you're not surgery at all, the whole idea of us talking to you guys is it's not about living in deprivation for the rest of your life. That's not what anybody wants to do with life. Like, that doesn't sound fun at all. So what we wanted to do was really make sure that you guys understand that lower calories doesn't necessarily mean you are losing weight. And we have seen it over and over and over again. And this is the biggest part of that, which Christina said, is that you hear it, right? You hear the newest, there's a new one actually that just recently come out. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years, guys. I've seen and heard so many different things. And it's like 800 calories, fat blaster or something ridiculous like that. First of all, the industry would not be $1 billion industry if all that shit worked, guys. It would not work that way, right? They prey on the idea of this is going to be your next thing. This is going to be what's going to make it happen. And inevitably, you're just angry and hungry, and then you don't last on that, and then you gain all your weight back, and then you look for the next thing. Hence the $1 billion industry. Right? That's how they do it. So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the quality of calories, why we tend to be really cautious about our calories, and how we can kind of get past that. And then, of course, we have some worksheets for you that's going to really help give you guys an idea of the difference between, you know, good calories and bad calories. And I don't like we don't often use good and bad, but in this case, it's the way to really explain what we're trying to say, right? When somebody says to me, I've eaten 500 calories, I'm like, excellent, show me, what does that look like? Well, if it's McDonald's 500 calories, or if it's, you know, fruit and vegetables and meats and proteins and all those stuff, they're very different. Yes, Frankie. Frankie's a really big one. She's at a stall for
She's like our poster child of eat more calories.
She really is. Right? And it seems like such a crazy concept because we've been pushed at it for so long, for so many years. I mean, as I said, I've been in the industry almost 20 years. My mom, when she first got into like the industry of fitness and all of that stuff, it was the same thing. It was years and years and years of things saying to you, it is time to decrease your calories. Well, guess what, guys? That's not true. It is about the quality of the calories. That is the important part. What's the good quality versus the bad quality? So, Christina, let's talk a little bit about the difference between the calories, and then what you can kind of look at when you're looking at a plate saying, hey, where is the good or not so good calories in there?
Yeah, you betcha. So first of all, you need to kind of figure out what your calorie range is. And we've talked about this in many different coffee chats, but your BMR test is the best way to figure out how many calories your body, because your body, my body, Lindsay's body, Frankie's body are all going to burn calories at different rates. And they're all going to have different needs in terms of calories. That your caloric goal for the day should not be something that MyFitnessPal tells you based on your height and age and weight. That's very generic, and it just isn't going to be very accurate. So your BMR test is the best way to figure it out. But there are some other ways too. Again, of course, a lot of BMR testing isn't happening right now. So you can also just, you can do some guesstimating and then kind of feel out your body and see how things are feeling. Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling good? And a lot of that is going to depend on the kind of calories that you're consuming. So you need to figure out your junky calories are the things that are going to process through your body really quickly. They're going to be things like sugars and starches and a lot of that kind of stuff that is just going to move through your body really fast. So it's not going to fuel you long term. You're looking for calories that are actually going to fuel your body over the course of a couple hours, not over the course of 20 or 30 minutes. The people that can eat things like a big bowl of pasta, or people that are like going for a run right away, or jumping on the ice to play hockey, or like doing something like that. I know Frankie said when she was doing roller derby, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were like her go-to because it was a quick thing that she knew that she was going to burn that off right away. So it was like, I can eat this and then I have like 30 minutes basically to burn it, or else I'm storing it. So those are the foods that are going to be like your quick things. You should never, because we just know that things like cupcakes and donuts and a lot of those foods, that they're not good quality calories because they're high fat and high carb. So they're not going to fuel you really well because the fat isn't going to help fuel you unless you're keto, but then the carbs are bad. So you're not going to be fueled really well when it's high fat and high carb food. That basically, over here, there we go. You're looking for things that have a good balance of healthy calories. Now, if it's a food that you can read a label on, first of all, that's going to tell you something right away. You want foods more often than not that are whole foods, which means that they don't have a label. An egg does not have a label. A piece of chicken, like an actual chicken breast, does not usually really have a label. It might be packaged so that it has a label, but like a chicken breast doesn't, it doesn't have ingredients in it. Like if you read the ingredients on chicken, it should be chicken. If you read the ingredients on an apple, it is apple. That there's not a whole bunch of ingredients. So the fewer the ingredients, the better the quality your food is going to be, always, with no exceptions. That is just a general rule. The more ingredients you have, generally speaking, the worse it's going to be for you. And food manufacturers, grocery stores, all of that kind of stuff, they like to try to trick you and put things on there that make you think that food is healthy even when it's not. So the first key I always tell people to look at when they're looking at labels is how many ingredients are in that item. If it's less than 5, you're probably looking at a somewhat decent choice, even if there is things like sugar in it and stuff. If there's less than 5 ingredients, it's usually a better quality sweetened product. Also, the sugars that you're looking at, there's like 55, there might even be more than that, different names for sugar. So you need to familiarize yourself with those kind of things, because they like to hide things. If they just called it sugar, you'd be like, oh, look, there's a lot of sugar in that. But instead they call it a whole bunch of different things. Fructose is one that's pretty common that people know to look for, but there's some that even I don't know what they are, and they seriously come up with new ones all the time. So that they're trying to trick you to think that, oh, I don't know what that is. That's a key to me. If you don't know what the ingredient is it really something you should be putting in your body? So those are things that I always tend to look for before I ever look at the caloric value of a food. So I don't even care how many calories are in it right now. When I look at that food label, if there's a whole bunch of ingredients and a whole bunch of foreign stuff that I don't know what it is, then that always, kind of tells my brain that, is that really something that I want to be eating? And so anytime you can cook something by yourself rather than eat it out of a package, you're generally getting a better quality food. So for instance, if you were going to make, I'm just trying to think of an example. If you were going to make a hamburger, you're going to have a burger. And so rather than go to worst option, go to the fast food place and get your burger, you have no idea what's in it. If they even provide you with like a nutrition information, it's often very vague. It has things like spice blend or meat blend or like things like that. It's not real clear, and it's not real great for you because they're preserving it. I've heard, and I've never done this myself, but I've heard you can take a McDonald's burger and you can actually just put it in a plastic bag and it will not rot in like.
You don't even need a bag. You don't even need a bag. We did the experiment with Happy Meal, put it on the counter, no bag, and I think it didn't even change. We only did it for 3 months because who wants it?
Only for 3 months. Only. Yep. That blows my mind.
Yep.
So yeah, that does not rot. So that tells you that's not food. So then your next option is the boxed burger, right? Like, so then you go to the grocery store and you buy a box of burgers and you're like, okay, this is pretty good. But then you read the ingredients and there's probably more than 5 and there's probably a few that you don't recognize. There's better quality ones, of course. And I mean, you're going to be able to find better ones. But then you take your next option where you make that burger yourself from ground meat, and you put in what you want, your own spice blend, your own like onions and whatever in there, whatever binder you're using, but everything that's going in that burger. You've then gone significantly more healthy with the same food. So that's originally why I created recipes, because I was like, if we can, in this bariatric world, if we can make our own food, even if it's still super tasty, super great, super awesome stuff, if you're cooking it at home, it's always going to be better than when you're buying either boxed, store-bought, or again, the worst option, the fast food options. So that's one of the ways that you can tell the quality of your food. So as Lindsay said, we have a worksheet that we're going to send to you guys that basically breaks down the quality of your calories. So it's something to look at. So, if you're eating 400 calories, well, you can eat 400 calories of M&Ms and it's 400 calories, but it's going to be like this much M&Ms, like I don't know how much, but it's going to be like a handful pretty much, maybe more than that. I don't actually know how many calories 400 M&Ms is. But you're going to get not a huge amount of M&Ms, or you could literally eat 4 chicken breasts. So which one is going to fuel your body better? 4 chicken breasts, like 4 4-ounce chicken breasts is going to be around 400 calories, maybe a tiny bit more, but not much. Or you can eat like, maybe half a cup of M&Ms, something around that. So if you think about the quality of your calories, that's why it's not just calories in versus calories out. It needs to be focused on the quality and how those calories are fueling your body.
Yeah, and the one thing that we struggle with too, with like MyFitnessPal and that type of stuff, and we talked about this before, is that first of all, it's very generic. It's just like, hey, okay, why not? So I put myself into MyFitnessPal, and I'm 43, and I'm this and I'm that, and I put it in, and it's like you need 1,200 calories. I eat 2,000 calories a day. So if I only ate 1,200 calories, then we're going to be in a situation where I am in absolute starvation mode and my body can't function at all. In a minivan.
Maureen, I just read, yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I'm sure that happens way too often. My sister actually said that her daughter grabbed one and she was like, I have no idea how long it was. And she's like, it tastes fine. I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's the big difference between calories too, right? I mean, you talk about how you want to fuel your body and again, what that looks like and what that means. The 1,200 mark tends to be like the magic number that a lot of diets and a lot of places go to, but it doesn't give the fuel that you need to do a lot of the things that we do on a regular basis. We talked before, chicken nuggets, oh my God, they do. They're so
well, and it's interesting because Lindsay and I know lots and lots of people now that have got their BMR tested, and we have not seen a single person with 1,200 as their BMR. Not a single one. I think the lowest one we've seen was like 1,300. Yeah. And yeah, like that's the abs. I think that's the lowest one. There might have been one that was lower, but not very many. Most of them are closer to the 2,000 calorie mark is what.
And a lot of the times too with your BMR, keep that in mind, guys, for those of you who had surgery, your BMR check, if you had gotten it done before surgery, probably would have been pretty low. Probably would have been, we've seen 8, 9, 10, 1,000 calories really low because that's your body being unable to burn, right? That's the metabolism being really, really low. And then we recommend,
it was 1150, just under 12. I knew there was somebody that was in that 1,100 range, but
yeah, I knew Shannon's was low. But then after surgery, with the exception of Shannon, it seems, there is and again, what I wish that they did as part of the bariatric kind of process was, check your BMR. And then within 12 months or more, we don't recommend doing it before that, but 12 months or more, check your BMR again, and then see the difference. I mean, we've had some of the guys who have done their surgeries 2-3 years ago check their BMR, and it's 2,600, 2,400, and those calories may be like, oh my gosh, gulp, that is insane, but it's actually not. Your body requires the calories to do the work that we don't even see, the growing of your hair, getting gray hairs like Christina's getting, like all of these things. And that's super important, right?
And then if you do have a BMR that's really low, that it is under 1,200, that's when we really need to start looking at things like raising that metabolism, because it could be that you've done some things that have actually slowed that metabolism down. So we need to do some things to boost that metabolism and get it burning more efficiently. Because we know that an adult woman in a coma needs 900 calories. So if you're not in a coma and living your life and your body's saying, I actually don't need that many calories, why is what we need to start asking and figure out how to boost that metabolism and get you burning more efficiently so that you can fuel your body better. There's all kinds of things that can play into that. We did a coffee chat a while ago. Oh no, it was a different one. We did something else on metabolism a while ago. I did a chat on it. So go back and watch that and think of some of those things that you can do to be able to boost that metabolism, to get that BMR higher. And then again, wait 6 months or a year and work on those metabolism boosting things, and then maybe get it tested again and see if it's working. Or if there's something that's working against you. If you have something like PCOS or thyroid conditions, if you have diabetes, if you're struggling massively with food intolerance, even that can really lower your metabolism, because basically your body thinks you're poisoning it all the time. So that can actually lower how well you're digesting and using fuel. So there's all kinds of things that can play into that. But a lot of the time, it's not just calorie deprivation is not the answer. And if you find that you're feeling really sluggish, you're feeling really tired, you're not able to get through the day, you're chugging coffee like it's going out of style, all of those kind of things are telling us that you're probably not fueled properly. So either it's the quality of your calories and what you're consuming that they're not fueling you, or it's the amount of calories. But more often than not, we see it in the bariatric world, because you guys know the quality of your calories now. You guys know what good food and bad food is, because that's been drilled into you in the bariatric process a lot of the time. It's don't eat takeout, don't eat junk, don't eat these things, that we've been told like to stay away from that. So even though we don't always follow it perfectly, we have to know that. So when you're banging your head against the wall and saying, why am I not losing weight? Well, you can look at the quality of your calories, but a lot of the time, there's not a ton to adjust, is what we find for the quality of your calories. Now, the one thing is, what I talked about before, the ingredients, that's one that we can often tighten up a little bit, because we tend to use a lot of like processed foods, protein shakes, protein bars, a lot of those low calorie things. We see like the little 100-calorie packets of this and the, whatever. There tends to be a lot of that comes up in the bariatric world, which again, go look at the stuff that you eat the most frequently and how many ingredients are in things. And then we can take a look at what's going on with the quality of your food and see if that is changing.
Yeah, Shannon, with yours, I know your BMR was a lot higher before. So, and again, this is the other thing too, right? Hormones play a part, how your age plays a part, like all of these things do. So again, we're not here to turn around to you and say, unless you legitimately are doing your BMR for you, we know everything about your history and all of those things. It is not something that we can turn around to say, and this is exact, but what we have found for the majority of the people that we work with is that even as they build up their calories in small spaces, because this is the question we get a lot, well, if I'm only eating 1,200 and you want me to eat 1,500, how do I build? Process, slow. Here
I don't work my butt off to build these calories up, and then yesterday I had a crap day and I ate like 1,100 calories. And it was just, honestly, it was not being focused. It was my whole thing. Like I wasn't real focused on calories yesterday, and I had other things going on. And then by the time I sat down last night and put everything into my fitness pal, and I was like, son of a gun, it was only like 1,100 calories. And I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah, and I think about it too, and I've talked to Christina about this quite a bit, is that instinctually, she goes back to her low-calorie mindset without even thinking about it, because that's where it's been forever and ever and ever, right?
It's so hard to break out of it. Like it really, and just instinctually, that's how many calories my body consumes. And everybody has those set points of how many calories their body naturally consumes. And so it's pushing beyond that. Now I can do it. I can get up around 1,700 calories when I plan my day properly and I eat the right things all day long. But if I don't plan my day, I autopilot back to between 1,100 and 1,200 calories. It used to be that I would autopilot back to 900. So, I've come from there, which is good. But still, autopiloting at 1,100 or 1,200 is not enough to fuel my body at all. Okay. So takeaways, I have to wrap up because I have to actually go teach a class, which is exciting. To battle with music, I'm super stoked. But we want to let you guys know the quality of your calories is going to be different. So go look at the ingredients on what you're eating. Pay attention to what you're consuming, what you're putting in your body. If you are not losing weight right now, look at your calorie level and see if you think some adjustments could happen. If you're sitting at 1,150, if that's what they're telling you that you need, maybe you need to get your BMR tested again and see if maybe there was something that went wrong in that test. That's a possibility too. Or maybe, we need to look at adjusting macros or changing something else. But it's not as simple as calories in versus calories out. If you're at the calorie level that you're supposed to be at and you're not losing weight, then we need to look at either adjusting that calorie level or changing something else up in your plan, and then also looking to build that BMR so that you can consume a more healthy calorie range. Tony, where do you get your BMR tested? Google BMR testing in, and then your city. So BMR testing in Calgary, BMR testing in Denver. It's a lab is where you want. Frankie said her bariatric office does it. Some bariatric offices do, a lot do not. The BMR testing is a lab test. You need to wear a mask over your face for 30 to 40 minutes. You need to breathe into this mask. That's the proper test that you need to have done. It should be between $50 and $150. Sometimes insurance will pay for it, but not very often is what we have found. Anything I'm missing?
No, and the biggest thing is just remember, you're looking for the proper test. So I used to do mobile BMR testing, and I had a massive computer with all kinds of doohickeys and fancy things. But I've also worked in a gym where I remember them saying, well, tell them that you can tell them. And I'm like, but that's not true. So if you have just like a handheld, if you have a scale you stand on, if
you're putting little things on your fingertips to check your pulse, that's not the BMR.
Where you can do it, you can't. It has to be done with a mask. You're testing your CO2 and your O2 levels. It's taking into consideration your heart rate. There's a lot of questions and answers to be done. So it has to be done at a proper place to get a true BMR test done. So keep that in mind. Also, guys, just so you know, our Shred Your COVID-19 challenge is starting. We actually have our very first bonus training starting tomorrow. I am going to be doing a training on mindset and what the heck does it matter with our weight loss journey. Christina's doing one on Wednesday for actual weight loss goal. What should it be and why should I do one? And then we kick it off on Thursday. Now, a lot of what we're talking about right now, of course, we do have we cover a lot of that because, well, we're shredding your weight loss challenge. We want to get these pounds off if you had any regain or you had any problems, gaining weight over the COVID kind of time. So we will be there. Get ready. If you're not already registered, get yourself in there because the group is open. People are grabbing accountability partners like they're going out of fashion. We have got people telling their stories. It is super awesome in that group. So come and do it. And then
first training on Thursday is 4 steps to create your lockdown weight loss plan. So we're going to give you the actual steps to do to get this weight moving, to get your scale going in the right direction, to make the right things happen. So it is a step-by-step plan.
And don't forget, on Thursdays, we also send out our email, and on Saturdays, we do our blog post about this exact topic. So don't forget to read and take a look at those. If you're not on our email, let us know, and we'll hook you up. And then our blog post is right on our website, so you can always go take a look, and we got lots of stuff there as well. So have a good
day. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to Tabata.
Yes, have a good one, guys.